Open mic time now with Hall of Famer Michael Irvin, the former Cowboys great, now seen, of course, on NFL Network. Let's get right into that Cowboys draft. I heard you on the radio with Norm leading into the draft, trying to sell us on Ezekiel Elliott. Why does it make sense taking a running back at number 4 when the Cowboys need so much help on defense? Explain that to me.
Job got done. Job got done. I was trying to make sure in every way possible to get that message to Jerry because, let me tell you something, a kid like Ezekiel Elliott helps your defense get better. You can go and find one guy and put on that defense. You go find a J.J. Watt. I mean, he hasn't turned Houston into a Super Bowl champion, and you're not going to find J.J. Watt in this draft. You remember when Atlanta drafted Deion Sanders, your great cornerback, Deion Sanders, put him on that defense, and he didn't turn those guys into a championship. He had to go to places where a team can produce on offense so his skill set can really shine. That's why Ezekiel Elliott was needed.
Zeke wearing Deion's number now, ironically, at Valley Ranch. Already hearing some people call the Romo, Zeke, and Dez trio the new triplets. You, of course, were part of the original triplets with Troy and Emmett. Are you offended by that comparison this early on? I
am not offended by it. I was a part of that group that started all of that rattling noise about here is the new triplets now. You know, I've gotten so far into it as to do the math myself, knowing that 8 plus 22 plus 88 equals 118. 9 plus 21 plus 88 equals 118. So it all equals triplets, and hopefully we can go get a triple Super Bowl out of it the same way. But I do believe that it makes a difference. Let me tell you, I tell people, when I walked on the football field, I remember walking on the football field playing with the Kevin Sweeneys of the world, the Steve Peluers, and God bless them all. But I was a different man when I walked on the football field playing with Troy Aikman. It gave me a different kind of confidence about my skill set. Now I can't wait to see that offensive line that we have getting ready to block for this guy, Ezekiel Elliott. Not the mentality that we were throwing around last year where we can put anybody behind this offensive line. Now we're saying we're putting somebody behind this offensive line.
But of course, none of it works if Tony Romo gets hurt again. He had the surgery.
But he protects Tony Romo.
Right. But just Romo's health in and of itself. You know, he had the surgery to strengthen the area around the collarbone. He is 36 now. Just from I guess as a Cowboy fan, how worried are you? How much are you going to be holding your breath every time he takes a hard hit here early in the season?
Well, 2 years ago, when DeMarco Murray was the leading rusher, you watched Tony Romo took less hits that year than in any year because he was not required to do all the Houdini stuff that he does. Everybody's lined up in the line of scrimmage trying to stop the run. We're still able to run the football, and then we get one-on-one coverage with the Cole Beasleys and everything. So he's able to hit a rhythm, dropping back, throwing the ball, dropping back. You lose rhythm when you're trying to decipher coverage, and he's sitting back there reading coverages, and now the pass rush breaks down, pass rush gets to him, and he's trying to do Houdini stuff to get out of a pocket. As long as we have the running back protecting Tony with a good run game, Tony will be fine. He will be fine this season.
Let me throw in on left field a little bit here. Romo's numbers, if he can stay relatively healthy for a couple of more years, are going to be Hall of Fame caliber.
Yes.
They're going to be comparable to some Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Do you think he gets into the Hall of Fame if he never wins a championship?
Quarterbacks are always given a leg up because we give so much talk and so much focus to the quarterback. Now, I do know right now I'm lobbying to get Kurt Warner in, and he didn't lead just one team to a Super Bowl. He led 2 teams to a Super Bowl, you know, with MVP and NFL. Tony has great numbers, but I would love to see Tony get a Super Bowl to solidify those numbers and solidify his chance of wearing that gold jacket. And I believe we can start looking forward towards that now.
Because of the changes that have been made here.
Because of the picks that they made. I thought this was a great draft
so
for the Dallas Cowboys.
Ezekiel Elliott's going to help Tony Romo get into the Hall of Fame is what I heard you just say. Let's talk about the...
Just like a reporter, they'll take this, put it with this, and say, hey, we got A, B together, this must mean C. But I'm with you on this. I'm with you on this.
Let's talk about the second-round pick, this Jalen Smith from Notre Dame. Coming off the significant knee injury, maybe the best player in the draft before he got hurt,
right.
The linebacker. What do you think of this pick?
And I was the first guy to know who we were picking. I mean, when they gave me this card to walk up with his name on it, I was like, wow, I can't believe we're taking this kid. And Mike, I'm going to say it, and I hope people don't take this incorrectly. It's just the way I joke. I call Luke Kuechly is the baddest guy in the NFL right now at linebacker. I love that kid. He's the baddest dude in the position. I call Luke Kuechly the white Ray Lewis. I call Jalen Smith the black Luke Kuechly. So this kid here is as good as they get. I thought this was a great pick by the Dallas Cowboys. This kid, and I had questions about why not Miles Jack. Miles Jack really was a running back. Now, moved to linebacker. This kid has linebacker instincts with physical skill set that's through the roof. I mean, he's an incredible player, and I do think he'll get back healthy.
Has there ever been more pressure on a team doctor than on Dr. Cooper right now? Because
I know.
Jerry, everybody's saying, hey, our doc looked at him. He said
it's all on Doc. So if it doesn't work out, blame Doc. And Doc's one of the best in the world, man. So I have no doubt Jalen will be back.
Yeah, he is. He's great at what he does and a great guy, but
he is
under a little more pressure than he's used to right now, maybe. Speaking of pressure, your friend Jason Garrett enters his 6th training camp as Cowboys head coach. What does he have to prove this season, do you think?
Well, I think this is a crucial season for Coach Garrett, you know. And Coach Garrett has really brought this team through, I think, a lot of storms, dealt with a lot of difficult situations. Last season, you can throw out the window with the injuries, just throw it out, you know. But I do think something has to happen this season to keep everything going in a great direction for Coach Garrett.